Braves Vision.
Bases loaded, and Michael Harris has appeared. He's thrust into action in a big spot. Michael Harris drills it, providing the juice off the bench. The Braves are going to try to get the lead, and they've got it.
You had one shot to play the Michael Harris card, and Walt Weiss saw that opportunity.
You had the right guy at first base, and you had the right guy at the plate. Walt Weiss seemingly pulling every lever at the right time here in 2026.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist. And Michael Harris back in the starting lineup tonight as the Braves start a road swing on the south side of Chicago. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside C.J. Nikowski. What a difference a year makes for Michael Harris. All-star break last year. He was down in the doldrums, and now he's leading the team with the best record in baseball.
I will tell you this, too. I think a lot of people wondering those adjustments that Michael Harris made, are those real? Were they real? Could we count on him in 2026? The answer clearly is yes. Look where he was a year ago through his first 62 games. There were some real struggles for Michael Harris. All the numbers across the board, the batting average, the home runs, the OPS, significantly better. And then those moments where Walt has asked him to be a pinch hitter, he has absolutely crushed it. 4 for 6 with those 7 RBIs. That leads Major League Baseball.
Now, our first look at the White Sox this season, and it's not the team you're used to. 3 straight 100-loss seasons, but now they're off to an incredible start, especially here in their own ballpark.
Yeah, and they're starting to see, I think, the light at the end of the tunnel. It had been a struggle here the last couple of years in Chicago, but you look at where they are compared to a year ago through their first 65 games. The win-loss record significantly improved. You mentioned what they've done here at home. 20-11 right now. That is the second-best home record in the American League. They can hit the long ball. They can score runs. This is not a team that you can take lightly.
So moments before first pitch, when we return, Wiley Battler will take a closer look at what has become the best bullpen in baseball. That's when we bring you back to Rate Field. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. By Rooms to Go. Get one-stop shopping plus decorating made easy. That's Rooms to Go. And also by your local Ford dealer.
On a warm and muggy Tuesday night in Chicago, we've got game 1 of this 6-game road trip for the Atlanta Braves. Braves coming off an impressive sweep over the Pittsburgh Pirates this past weekend in Atlanta. And one of the lead stories in those 3 games was the work of the Braves bullpen. 11 scoreless innings. And entering this season, we knew you had quite the 1-2 punch, Raisel Iglesias and Robert Suarez, and they have delivered this season through the first 2 months plus. You look at first at Robert Suarez. He's been the best setup man in baseball. He's got double-digit holds. He's collected 4 saves in Iggy's stead, and he's got one of the highest chase rates among all major league relievers. And of course, those Raisel Iglesias, he's going to attack you like a bull rush. 70% strike rate, that's 3rd among all major league relievers. He is perfect in saves, 13 for 13. Those guys were known commodities. But how about Didier Fuentes, a new guy on the scene, and he has been almost as elite as those two in the bullpen. An ERA just over 1 when working in relief. He's given up 0 home runs as a reliever. That's why that opposing slugging percentage is so low, top 5 in the National League. And honestly, probably the best kept secret in all of Major League Baseball when it comes to relievers. Dylan Lee leading all bullpen arms in WHIP this season. He's been great against lefties, righties. It doesn't matter. And when you look at the work that these guys have done, you can look at all this stats and numbers you want, but the bottom line is the production. Are they allowing runs? The answer is no. And I mean like not at all. For the top 5 ERAs among National League relievers, that is our John Foy, the strong arm, and it's filled with Atlanta Braves. So that's a look at what the Braves have at the back end of their bullpen. How about tonight, Grant Holmes getting the start, looking for another win after he went 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs in his last time out against the Blue Jays. But first, Ronald Acuna Jr. and the boys are coming up when we come back. First pitch is next on Braves Vision.
Braves Vision Profile. Bruce Benedict, catcher for America's team, the Atlanta Braves.
People from the Midwest, so where I grew up, I think it was salt of the earth. And good, solid people, a lot of farmers in the Midwest.
This team is your team, America's team, the Atlanta Braves. He got him. Dubon gives it a ride out to right center. It's out of here. If she's fair, she's gone. There she goes. Braves win. Braves versus White Sox, 7:40 p.m. Eastern tonight.
From right field on the south side of Chicago, and look at this. How cool is this? Brothers Acuna exchanging the lineup cards before game one of this three-game series between the Braves and the White Sox. Luis Angel is in the lineup for the Sox tonight. He's hitting eighth and playing short, and Ronald leading it off. Let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Racetrack. There's Ronald Acuna in the leadoff spot for the Braves team that is tied for second in baseball with 90 home runs, going against a White Sox team that has hit 89 of them. And Michael Harris has really turned it up. He's fantastic on the road, so is this entire Braves team. Brandon Eisert will get the start for the White Sox tonight.
And he will be the opener. The expectation is that we will then see Eric Fetty behind him. But he has done this a couple of times. You see 2 starts. He's thrown the ball really well. He was a rookie a year ago. He is not an overpowering guy. That fastball sits right under 90 miles an hour.
2-1 with a 3.21 ERA, and the 6'2" left-hander misses low with his first two. Ronald. Braves have been a sensational road team this season, and they're looking to keep that going tonight. Let's take a look at our Ford Keys.
So taking a look at these Sox, they are the better Sox. The Braves have already played the Boston Red Sox. You got to keep an eye on this team. And how about keeping it in the yard today? We've talked about the home runs, 4th best in baseball. And Grant Holmes has had a little bit of an issue with the home run this season. So that'll be something to keep an eye on in this one.
Change up low and away to Ronald.
Get hydrated. It is thick here in Chicago.
Yeah, it is muggy. Didn't expect that getting off the plane. Four-seamer at 88 from Eisert.
Well, there's something about people from Atlanta complaining about humidity in places like Chicago, but it feels appropriate.
Well, everyone here was complaining about it too. They don't like it. And now full count from Eisert to Acuna.
And so even though that fastball, that was a changeup there, is not particularly hard, he does count on some chase living around the edges as Ronald went after that one outside of the strike zone.
And a strikeout for Eisert to get things going. Let's check out the defensive lineup brought to you by Chevrolet. Sam Antonacci is a middle infielder by trade. Tristan Peters can play just about anywhere, and it's a major league debut for Braden Montgomery. Miguel Vargas is having an all-star type season. He's at third next to Acuna, Meidroth, and Gonzalez. Another rookie on the right side with Drew Romo behind the plate for the White Sox tonight. Montgomery is their 12th call-up, their 12th major league debut this season. That's a new franchise record in one season.
It is incredible, and we're here only in early June. Who knows if they will be able to continue to add on. You can see on his left arm, too, that MLB debut patch.
And Michael Harris sends it to the gap in right center. That will drop in front of Tristan Peters. And Harris picking up right where he left off.
Pretty impressive here, left on left for Michael, and to do it against a slider, it hasn't been a problem. The big pinch hit that he had the other day, that base clearing double with the bases loaded, was left on left, and he had kind of a similar type of pitcher across the body, not necessarily overpowering, and Michael stays on that slider just long enough for a base hit.
So one aboard for Matt Olson, and that one inside to Matt. 17 home runs on the season. 12 of them have come away from home.
So what will be interesting here with the opener situation in Eisert is how long he stays in there. I mentioned it was the 3rd time now that he has done this. The first 2 times, an inning and a third. So they're very specific about what batters they want him to go to. Now, for me, that either means Ozzie.
And Olson sends it high and deep to right field. That is way gone, and a 2-run home run to open the scoring for Atlanta. his 13th road home run of the year.
And like everywhere else the Braves go on the road, you can hear those Braves fans, a good amount of them behind the Braves dugout on the first base side, appreciating this swing. Left on left here from Matt Olson. It's a fastball. It was meant to be away. Looked like it was probably up and maybe inner third. And he's able to turn on 90 miles an hour and hit it into those stands.
Did the Braves fan get it?
At least give it to him. If you didn't catch it,
should.
Just don't throw it back.
Ozzie serves this one to right, and the Braves have 3 consecutive hits against Isert.
We'll get our answer. Now, Eric Fedde has already been warming up down in that Chicago White Sox bullpen. You have Mauricio Dubon, the righty, and then, of course, Dom Smith, the lefty. And so perhaps they try to run this through Dom Smith. We'll see.
And we got an answer on the Braves fan not getting the baseball. So there's Fedde. And Mauricio Dubon looks at a first pitch strike. Mauricio coming off a good homestand, 368 with half of his 6 home runs as they try to keep Ozzie close to the bag.
So Mauricio, when he joined the Braves, everyone looked at him and looked at the numbers, and it felt like he was going to be a guy that was going to platoon against left-handed pitching. But so far this year, it's been pretty interesting to see how good he has been against righties. Significantly better. 803 OPS against right-handed pitching, 622 against the lefties. But you see a lot less strikeouts against left-handed pitching for Mauricio Dubon.
Four-seamer misses up. Might be the hardest he's thrown so far. Brandon Isert played his college ball at Oregon State. He had a host of big leaguers on that roster, a national championship team, including Adley Rutschman. Tim Kwan was on that team. That one missed away with a changeup.
It's a good group. You don't see that many usually impact big leaguers
on
one college team like that. Although we may see more of it now with the transfer portal and kind of the collective of talent that you get at some of the bigger schools.
In for a strike to Mauricio.
The other thing that's interesting about this guy, he gets incredible extension, which is a number that we focused on a little bit more. He is up over 7 feet, which is elite level. That puts him in a pretty special class. Even though he's across his body, he is still 7 feet away from home plate when he, not from home plate, excuse me, from the pitching rubber, when he releases the baseball. Your average big leaguer is about 6.5, 6.4, so it is significant.
So that four-seamer at 88, 90 is playing a couple ticks above that?
It should, and you know, we kind of get those numbers sometimes as far as what the perceived velocity is or how much he loses. Now, again, he doesn't throw hard. You can see it clear as day, but then you go look at the numbers against his fastball, and it's just a 158 batting average again, so I think the answer to that would be yes.
And now a walk to Mauricio, and that might be the end of the line for Isert. 4 straight reach after the strikeout of Ronald to start the game.
Looks like a pitching coach conversation here, and I think probably because of the lefty. He has been better against lefties, at least as far as the batting average goes, but he's actually walked them at a really high rate. Take a look at Will Venable, second-year manager now with the Chicago White Sox.
That he looks like he's about ready to go. So you figured Dominic will be the last.
I would think so. Again, it's always been an inning and a third, but they've gone pretty smooth, and he's actually thrown the ball extremely well. He had a couple of games early in the season where he gave up 2 runs in each of those games. Got sent down for about a month. And then when he came back to the big leagues, and since he's been back, he has thrown extremely well, 11 2/3, and only 1 run allowed. So the fact that the Braves were able to put 2 on him here in this opener situation is encouraging.
Dominic Smith has 6 home runs on the season. 4 of them have come with runners on. He's in 130 points higher with runners on versus empty. And he takes a first pitch sinker, 0-1.
I do like that Walt really didn't alter the lineup, even though he knew he was getting a lefty opener. And keeping Dom Smith in there, keeping Yaz in there, and even having Michael bat second. And there are times when you'll see an opener and maybe a team will set their lineup differently, right, to match the lefty and then immediately go ahead and make the switch when the opener is not in there. But these guys have swung the bats well against left-handed pitching, and so Walt doesn't take the bait.
And Dominic sends it into left center. Antonacci is there. Shades on. 2 down. And here's Will Venable. And that'll be the end of the line for the opener, Brandon Eisert. 21 pitches in. Allowed 4 base runners, including a home run by Olson. We'll tell you about Eric Fetty when we return to Chicago. Already 2-0 Braves, top of the first inning in Chicago. Time for our Toyota Trends feature of the game.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see here with the Atlanta Braves with their 5.2 runs per game, 4th best in baseball. The White Sox getting a little bit better here, but you see the ERA for them 20th in baseball. So it's a nice combination here for the Braves, who, by the way, now have 17 first inning home runs. That is tied for the 2nd most in baseball. The Pirates and the Angels are the 2 other teams with 17. The Yankees have 18.
There's one-time Brave Eric Fetty now, 13th appearance on the season. He's got an ERA just under 4. 33-year-old spins one in for a strike to Austin Riley.
And get used to that, right? That's the sweeper there. That is the pitch that he uses the most. And when you look at his pitch arsenal, clearly has been the most successful. Now he has struggled mightily against the Atlanta Braves with that 0-6 record, near 10 ERA.
And he'll throw that sweeper a ton to right-handers, 44%. Now ball and a strike to Riley, who had a great series in the sweep against Pittsburgh, went 3 for 10 with a couple of doubles. Sinker in for a strike. Ozzie at second, Mauricio at first, and the sweeper goes low and away.
So 207 batting average against the Eric Fetty sweeper this year. Righties have struggled even more so. 192 against him. As you mentioned, you see it quite a bit.
2-2 to Riley. And the sinker up in the zone for strike 3 swinging. But the Braves cash in with a Matt Olson home run, his 18th of the year. And they get the road trip off to a swinging start. It's a 2-0 lead for Atlanta as we head to the home half of the first. Field in Chicago, Braves with a 2-0 lead on the White Sox. Here's a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Racetrack. White Sox come in 4th in baseball in home runs with 89 of them. And the major league debut, as we mentioned, of Braden Montgomery, who was having a tremendous run throughout the minors when he got called up today from AAA. Grant Holmes on the mound for Atlanta. And the first is Sam Antonacci. Just misses with the 4-seamer, 1-0.
So we know with Grant Holmes, that slider is the most important pitch for him, but it's also the 4-seamer, 2-seamer, curveball, cutter, changeup, all in the mix for the Braves right-hander as he gets ready to make his 13th start of the season.
Club has won 9 of his 12 starts this year. Antonacci right on top of the plate, and that's the reason he leads baseball, having been flunked 15 times this year.
And I guess apparently also cracked his helmet once with that white tape that's on the ear flap.
Yes, he did.
It's the big leagues. Get him a new helmet.
What are we doing?
You know, guys get a little bit superstitious, certainly. So it was either a helmet toss, maybe he cracked it, or it fell off.
We had to tape the earpiece back on there. Into left. Yastrzemski puts it away. There's one down. Take a look at the Braves defense, brought to you by Chevrolet. Michael Harris roaming center field for Atlanta. On the left side, it's Riley and Dubon with Ozzie and Matt on the right side, and Austin Wynn's getting the start tonight.
Yeah, interesting conversation that we had earlier today, and Walt talking about where we are with Drake Baldwin right now. Jesus Cano, who writes for the Athletic, kind of relaying some of that information and saying Drake Baldwin's getting closer. The expectation is that he may be on a rehab assignment this weekend.
First pitch swinging deep to right field. Acuna at the wall and casually hauls it in, and their #1 all-star prospect Miguel Vargas flies out on the first.
These fans tricked me for a second. You kind of count on them to know when you're on the road, right? And that got a little bit louder than expected on that fly ball, but it is warm, and we know the ball's going to carry a little bit more because of it.
Ronald may have fooled them as well.
Yeah, he does a good job of that.
Here's Andrew Benintendi, and he looks at a breaking ball for a strike. 31-year-old, first-round pick of the Red Sox back in 2015.
All right, now wait a minute. Now he has tape on his helmet.
Is this a thing?
They like tape brothers. All right, well,
not everybody.
Gonzalez is not in the group.
Not part of the club.
Although those guys behind him have their own little group going. Those chains.
6 home runs and 30 driven in for Benintendi, who signed a 5-year, $75 million deal, largest in franchise history.
Yeah, one that has unfortunately probably not worked out the way that the White Sox had hoped, and then they pivoted and kind of went into this deeper rebuild. But Benintendi has been a contract that they have somewhat been stuck with.
Benintendi with a ground ball to second. Ozzy's got it, and it's a 1-2-3 frame worked by Grant Holmes. By the active cash card. Hello, Wiley.
Hello, Tom. You guys were talking about the opener strategy the White Sox employed earlier tonight using Brandon Eisert, a lefty, to begin the game before right-hander Eric Fetty came in. And it's the 5th time we have seen an opponent start a left-handed reliever to begin a game. And for what it's worth, the Braves are 3-1 of those starts. When I asked Walt Weiss about it, he made 2 points. One, he feels like the lefties they have in their lineup, namely Michael Harris and Matt Olson, to say nothing of Drake Baldwin, who also matches lefties. But those guys can hit southpaws just fine. And then secondly, you know, we saw this on Sunday against the Pirates, but when you use your top left-handed leverage arm to begin the game, when you have Michael Harris up and the bases loaded with the go-ahead run at first, all of a sudden that top lefty isn't available, and Michael made him pay on Sunday. So, guys, I think this is something Walt feels like they will see moving forward, but there are some angles to it that could actually benefit the Braves.
Yeah, it's interesting that teams would kind of go that route, right, where they go with one of their top left-handed arms. Now, even though Eisert ends up making the start, there are 4 lefties that are down in that bullpen for the Chicago White Sox. They called up Joe Rock today, who pitched with the Rays a little bit last year, just 3 games. So they do have 4 lefties that are down there, but I'm with Wiley on that one, and kind of what Walt was talking about, that you would go big early. It does not scare this team off because of how well they hit lefties.
Well, you also give Fetty an opportunity to avoid Ronald Acuna at least for one plate appearance, because Acuna has mashed him in his career. And Yastrzemski chases the changeup. Back-to-back Ks now for Eric Fetty, and there's one down with Austin Wynns coming up. The Braves' first inning included a home run for Matt Olson. That followed a Harris single, and now here's Wynns.
It's an excellent point that you bring up regarding, as we sit there and get focused on the lefties and saying how it doesn't really disrupt the lineup, but Ronald has been a real problem. And sometimes it is about trying to neutralize a big threat early on, and Ronald has been one.
We know how hot this lineup can get. 3 hits over a 5-pitch span in the first, and Austin Wynns chases the breaking ball, nothing in 1. 3 hits and 3 walks on the season for Austin. To the left side. Who wants it? This will be Acuna behind Vargas. 2 down. So Ronald gets a chance to face Eric Fetty. .316 average with a 1277 OPS and 3 home runs in just 19 at bats off of Fetty. Starts him off with a sinker. Oh. Romo caught the bat.
Take a look at this here. You have a sinker coming in 94 miles an hour. And yeah, it did look like it caught the knob of the bat. Did they call hit by pitch? They have.
Did.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm curious to see if they asked for a review on this. Now you get a reaction from Ronald that tells you it caught the hand.
So the second extended now for Michael Harris. Base hit on a sweeper his first time up. Michael's been so good since the All-Star break last year, and it's really interesting. You do a deep dive on the numbers. It's the spin away when he was facing Isert in the first, and it's the fastball up that all of a sudden he's mashing both of them.
Big mechanical adjustments for Michael a year ago where he's opened up the stance. The hands have gotten higher. He really had to hit rock bottom last year. They had talked about it in spring training and maybe trying to be ahead of it, but it's hard sometimes when you've had a lot of success to buy into change. So he had to struggle, and he did mightily in that first half.
Runner on the move. The throw down to second is in time. Ronald thinking twice. Acuna on Acuna. And Walt Weiss holding up. Let's see if they challenge it.
Did little brother get the tag on big brother? They're going to challenge him.
Oh boy.
Did he swim move his own brother?
Atlanta is challenging the out call at second base.
Drew Romo behind the plate.
So it looked like the throw beat him. Did he get the tag on? He might have just missed him. And that's what Ronald is saying, is that there wasn't contact there. Let's see if you see any. You see him touching the ground. You may have a case. Now it's interesting because you sit there and look at that angle. And for Brian Walsh, the second base umpire, he's got a clear look at it, but I don't see contact at all. Get to talk about that one over Thanksgiving.
Did the jersey move on the tag? I don't see it.
There's no contact there. It's a matter of whether or not he got him on the tricep. Really his only shot at this.
Was his left hand on the bag when he got the sleeve?
It's close. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know if and when he actually got the sleeve. Ronald feeling pretty good about it right now.
It'll be his 16th bag of the season. In 22 tries, if this turns out the Braves' way.
So this is the first time for the Acuna brothers where they both started.
They're calling the field stands.
Oh!
Runners out. Atlanta will lose their challenge.
Well, I guess that conversation's going to change a little bit.
It sure will. South side of Chicago, game 1 of 3 between the Braves and the Sox, and Atlanta with a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second. It'll be Jacob Gonzalez leading off for Chicago. Gonzalez, part of this very versatile Chicago roster. He was a shortstop when he was drafted out of Ole Miss, and now he's playing first base for him. Just his 8th game since coming up. Ahead in the count 2-0 to Holmes. Jacob Gonzalez was having a monster minor league season. First in the minors in home runs, RBI, and total bases. Cutter in for a strike. Talk about this resurgence for Chicago after 3 straight 100-loss seasons, including a 121-loss season 2 years ago, which is a modern-day record. And the fact that they've had all these debuts now and they're having their best season in years, or at least from a starting perspective.
The idea when you get into this position, one, you hope that you draft well and that you trade well, right? The couple of pieces that you have, and Garrett Crochet was a big piece that they had. And you hate to put this kind of pressure on the front office, but the reality is when you have something that is that big, you really can't miss on that trade. You're trying to find yourself multiple big leaguers that can ultimately contribute. They also did very well in the international market and bringing in Murakami, who is now on the IL.
Banged up the middle into the glove of Dubon, and he got him. Two-time Gold Glove Award winner gets there, and there's one down in the second.
Braves fans have absolutely fallen in love with Mauricio Dubon. That flexibility to get. Look how far he had to go And he knew that it wasn't time to spin. He was going to have to field it quickly and stay facing the bag and make a strong throw. And it was right on the money there to Matt Olson. He's done it in center field. He's done it in left, at short, even a little bit at third. He's been special.
Fastball in for a strike to Chase Meidroth. You mentioned the trades, and Meidroth was part of that deal that sent Crochet away, brought in pitching prospect and Lekelman Gonzalez, but also Kyle Teal, their starting catcher, who's been on the IL basically all season. He got hurt in the WBC. And Braden Montgomery, who waits on deck to make his major league debut. Into center field off the bat of Meidroth, the 1-out single and the first hit of the game for Chicago tonight. And here's Montgomery. 23-year-old, was the 12th overall pick in the 2024 draft. Came out of Texas A&M after starting his college career at Stanford.
When you hear fans cheering like this, it gives you an idea of where this organization is. The fact that the fan base knows about prospects and are excited about a prospect making his debut.
And what a cool scene as he takes it all in before he sees the first pitch of his big league career. And he looks at a strike. Montgomery's a Mississippi native who was a two-way star in high school and then with Stanford and focused solely on hitting by the time he got to A&M in his draft year. Switch hitter taps it foul. It is an area of need for the White Sox. Right fielders this season for Chicago have an OPS of .582. That is 27th in baseball.
He has shown the ability throughout his minor league career to get on base. Walk rate really high. Strikeout rate respectable. There's a lot going on right now.
No doubt.
My heart beating a mile a minute.
Then he goes down on the slider from Holmes. 2 down in the second.
Well, don't feel bad about it. When you look at the Grant Holmes slider, it's one of the best whip rates in the game at nearly 41%. That is 4th best in baseball among all pitchers that have thrown at least 300 sliders. It is a nasty one. And you got a good look at it. Those are not sliders that you're going to see in the minor leagues.
So here's Tristan Peters. And he waves at the first slider. Peters hitting over 300 and a couple of home runs. Time for our Defend the Mound feature presented by Comcast Business. Most strikeouts over his first 40 career starts. Grant Holmes comes in 5th in franchise history.
Kind of amazing, right? We don't necessarily think about Grant Holmes that way, but some really good names and some great swing and miss. Of course, Spencer Strider just smoking everybody in that category.
And there's a K for him. Back-to-back strikeouts to close the Chicago half of the second. Picking up right where he left off.
How about a big fastball here? 94 miles an hour from Grant Holmes to finish off these Sox.
Third inning is brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta Audi dealer today. Here's Michael Harris to lead off the third, and that one was coming towards his shins. 0-1.
You mentioned some of those good numbers for certain Braves hitters. Michael Harris 6 for 9 against Eric Fedde in his career.
Let's take a look at our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life impact player and take Michael Harris away from Truist, and he is still delivering. 373 average, best in Major League Baseball.
Hard to believe compared to where he was a year ago, but Michael really has figured it out. And you know, for some guys, there is a real comfort level. I think at being at home. For Michael, it's more of the see ball, hit ball, and it does not matter what the situation is or what ballpark he's in.
Upstairs. And he sends it into center. Tristan Peters catches up with it. One down with Matt Olson coming up after his 18th home run of the season opened the scoring for the Braves in the first. Went yard twice on the last road trip for Atlanta.
He's one of the few that has not had very much success against Eric Fedde. 1 for 9. He did take him deep, but that was all the way back in 2022 when Fedde was pitching for the Washington Nationals.
And quite a ride for Fedde. 4 teams in 5 years for the 33-year-old who was a first-round pick of the Nationals back in 2014. Sweeper in for a strike. He was drafted out of UNLV, where he was such a fast worker that he was described by some as having perhaps double parked outside the Bellagio. Golfed into center. Peters back at the track, at the wall, and Olson sends it over. Peters got his leather on it, but it's the second home run in as many at-bats for Olson. One to right, one to left, and now 14 home runs away from home for Olson.
Kind of amazing here when Matt Olson hit this baseball. If you take a look and watch Peters in center field, it looked like he had a beat on it, and it kept going and going and carries out of here. Heck of an effort, but I think Peters thought he was going to catch this ball somewhere on the grass. And I mentioned it being a warm night, the ball is going to carry. It's also hit 103 miles an hour.
Ozzie rips one foul.
Make it 2 for 10 with 2 homers. That'll work for Matt Olson in his career against Eric Fedde. Much what we're talking about here, at least for me, this is pretty much the view that we have. I thought Peters had it, and then he seemed surprised it just kept going.
Wind's blowing out a little bit to left. That one's roped into right field by Ozzie, and he will take a wide turn, try to stretch it into a double, and he is there. And Ozzie's 2 for 2 tonight. He had that whole play in front of him with the rookie Braden Montgomery in right.
Gets a sweeper right down the middle here for Ozzie Albies. Right, that first at bat came against the lefty while he's batting right-handed for that base hit. Now a double here, batting left-handed. And this is a good throw. Impressive here from Montgomery in his first opportunity as a rookie. He had something on it. It was on the mark, but Ozzie just ahead of it.
He was an all-state pitcher at Madison Central High School in Mississippi before starting his college career. And a first pitch strike to Mauricio. This is similar to how the Braves ambushed Eisert in the first inning when they had 3 hits over a 5-pitch span. And for Olson, his first multi-home run game this season, he's never had a 3-home run game. Fedde steps off.
We're going to get greedy here, right? I mean, it is only the third inning, so let's knock on the door of some history. And only a handful of those 4 home run games, including 2 last year that the Braves were on the wrong end of. Eugenio Suarez hit 4 against the Braves. Grant Holmes, who's pitching tonight, he let up 3 of those. And then we saw Kyle Schwarber hit 4 against the Atlanta Braves. And the only guy that could get him out was an infielder in Brujan. He had a chance for 5 homers, and he popped up against the position player. Ooh. Catcher's interference.
And so Mauricio reaches, and Drew Romo's checking out, making sure he still has all his fingernails.
It's been an interesting year behind the plate for both of the catchers right now here with the Chicago White Sox. A lot of pass balls, 7 of them.
Ooh. By the way, that wasn't just a glance over the edge of the glove. That hit him in the back of the hand.
And no real reason to be reaching out that early with Ozzie at second base. It's one thing when you got a guy in first and you're worried about him stealing. I don't think Ozzie was going anywhere. Remember, this is exactly what landed Sean Murphy on the IL and put him out for a couple of months.
Mentioned this earlier, White Sox without the guy they thought they would be starting behind the plate, Kyle Teal. He's on the 60-day. Edgar Caro is their other catcher.
Had real issues with pass balls with these two guys that are active right now. They've had issues with their ability to block as well. They've thrown okay. Some of the other defensive parts have not been very strong for the White Sox.
Dominic Smith flew out to left field his first time up. He's got 2 on in front of him for the second time tonight, and he rips this one to first. Gonzalez goes to second for 1, back to first, and right through the webbing of Fetty. That's going to allow Dubon to scramble home. Pardon me, Ozzie to scramble home.
It's rare that you would say a 3-6-1 is tailor-made, right? They're difficult to turn for pitchers, but it looked like they had a really good shot to make it happen here. The throw was a good one. Nice lane that you have available to you from Gonzalez. And then for Acuna, good throw. Just, missed there by Eric Fetty. And maybe a little bit of movement. These are not fun as a pitcher because you're busting it over there. And you see a couple of balls. You run on your heels. It's bouncing a little bit to Fetty. And a good read by Ozzie to make sure that he scores.
So instead of an inning-ending double play, 2 down for Riley.
It's a tough error to give to a pitcher. I mean, you expect him to catch that baseball, but he looked like he got a little locked up on where the throw was.
Yeah, even if he had caught it, it would have been awkward with his glove right up against his chest.
Yeah.
Riley was the first batter Fetty faced, struck him out to end the opening frame.
And you also have the catcher's interference, which is technically an error in that spot on your catcher. And that's how Mauricio Dubon got on. So not a good inning here defensively for the Chicago White Sox.
Against the shift, Lil Squibber rolls into right field, and Riley will take it.
That'll work.
What was the exit velo on that one? 48?
66 miles an hour there for Austin Riley. And Tom Smith might get a little bit of ribbing here. I think the other 25 guys on this team could go first or third in this spot. Dom Smith thought better. Now, we'll say this. Montgomery has shown you he's got a strong arm.
Right.
And so you pick up on that real quickly. And they knew that going in. They have that scouting report, even though he's making his big league debut. And you certainly don't want to make that third out over at third base.
Romo went and had a visit with Fetty. And now Yastrzemski, who struck out to start the second. Sweeper for a strike, 0-1. And then to the changeup. You see the cutter here?
A little two-seam fastball. He's got good movement on it. And what he tried to do there was go front hip with it. Right, started at Yads and let it come back and catch the corner. You do that as a freeze pitch. Usually, though, you want your misses in, not up, or it's going to be either in off the plate or it's going to catch the black. It's a good pitch when effective. It's a bad one when you miss.
Started with a sweeper, now 2-2 to Yastrzemski with Austin Wynns waiting on deck. And he rides it into the left field corner. That is foul by about 4 feet.
couple times now in this at bat where it looks like he's throwing what he's looking for, that free strike, right? Backdoor sweeper there, mentioned the front door two-seamer. These are pitches that you're shooting edges on and hoping that you're not going to get a swing.
Will reach the seats. Betty had a great start against Minnesota recently. 5 innings shutout baseball, allowed just 2 hits. One for 61 pitches. That one at the hip. That was the last time he started the game, and then 2 starts prior to that, his worst of the year on the road at San Francisco. 10 hits, 8 runs over 3 1/3. Runners on the move. Strike 3 looking. Matt Olson's done it again, his second of the night.
How about 2 here so far with a lot of game left for Matt Olson, but a big one out to left center to get the Braves up big early.
The 3rd inning is brought to you by Audi. Experience the all-new Audi Q3 at your local Atlanta Audi dealer today. And a first pitch strike to Luis Angel Acuna. First time the brothers have started the same big league game. They exchange the lineup cards tonight. Here's Riley. 1 down. Holmes allowed a single to Chase Smydroth with 1 out in the 2nd. Otherwise, first trip through the order has gone exactly as planned as Drew Romo stands in.
You love seeing it here early on. You got the lead, you got the pitch count in a good place. These guys have shown that they'll be aggressive.
And Romo skies it to left. Aggressive indeed. Here's Yaz. 2 down.
And so you learn how to take advantage of that. And that sometimes means, like there, a little first pitch curveball. A guy is either going to give you a free strike or he's probably not going to get a good swing against it.
The only remaining question, Wiley Ballard, is what's up with the tape on the ear flaps for the White Sox?
You ready for this? So Sam Antonacci in junior college used this as sort of a superstition. He got hot when he put some tape on his batting helmet, and he kept it going throughout college. When he got to the big leagues, he felt like, you know what, this isn't exactly show, so he stopped it, but ultimately wanted to get some good mojo going, so he started it back up again. And then less than a month ago, he actually surprised his teammate Andrew Benintendi by putting some batting tape on his helmet. Benintendi didn't realize that it was there until after he had already doubled in the game, at which point Sam pointed it out to him. And then later on, Benintendi hit a homer that same night, so it's sticking around.
So we've had the Bash brothers. Now we got the Tape brothers here for these guys.
And all due respect to the folks at Heartland Community College, but my guess is the tape was needed originally.
Probably. It's a good point, and it's a fun little thing here for Antonacci now and Benintendi. Doesn't look show, as Wiley mentioned, but challenge. But I dig it. You got an older guy, you got a younger guy, and there's a nice little kind of fun connection.
And if it comes with hits, that's as show as it gets. 23-year-old Sam Antonacci was a 5th round pick out of Coastal Carolina after starting at JUCO, as Wiley mentioned.
And his signing scout was Kevin Burrell, who is the husband of Val Burrell, who was our stage manager back in Atlanta. Always try to find some kind of Braves connection if we can.
Val got some good camera time on Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
Why don't you guys ever let Val throw Cracker Jacks?
She's welcome to. She does bring us the box to be able to do it. She's more like a team mom. I call her a stage manager, but she does a great job.
2-out walk puts Antonacci aboard, and that will bring Miguel Vargas to the plate. Just a second base runner for the Sox tonight.
A couple borderline pitches. We did not see Austin Wynns challenge anything. So far this year, he's been slightly below league average. 13 for 25. That's 52%. Catchers have been about 58% this year.
Vargas flew out to right field on the first pitch he saw last time up. And Grant just misses low with the four-seamer.
So it is the one thing with Grant Holmes, I say the one thing, but something that has changed a little bit. When he first got to the big leagues a couple of years ago with the Atlanta Braves, the command was excellent. And it kind of started to slip away from him a little bit. And it's been higher and larger than league average.
And on the thumbs.
It's been better lately for Grant Holmes. 2 walks in his last start, 1 in the prior start against the Cincinnati Reds.
Two and two to Miguel Vargas. Upstairs. So the first ever All-Star game in 1933 had Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and others. Also in that lineup, starting at third base, was Jimmy Dykes of the White Sox. Nearly a century later, Dykes is the only White Sox third baseman to start the All-Star game.
Oh, wow.
In fact, the last White Sox third baseman even made it to the All-Star game was Joe Creedy. That was in 2008. Runner on the move, and this ball's looped into left field. Yastrzemski will watch it sail. It's a 2-run home run for Miguel Vargas.
Grant Holmes looked like he reached back for a little bit more. 96 miles an hour on his fastball. You can see it there, though. Bottom third of the zone. Actually, at the very bottom of the zone, and a good piece of hitting here from Vargas. The 2-out walk is the one that'll bother you, but Grant Holmes has also had a few issues with the long ball this year. That overall home run rate is up this season.
It's the 13th he's surrendered, and Benintendi. So the first pitch slider. 16th of the year for Vargas. Holmes got the first 2 outs on just 3 pitches to start the inning. And then 12 to Antonacci and Vargas combined. And this one's lifted to right. Here's Ronald. 2-run home run for Miguel Vargas, pulls the Sox back in this game. Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Truist from the south side of Chicago. Game 1 of 3 between the Braves and the White Sox. White Sox trying to pull off a turnaround like the Orioles did in 21. Orioles went from 110 losses to 101 wins and won the AL East. And the White Sox have lost 100 plus each of the last 3 seasons, come into tonight second in their division in the American League.
It's a big part of this too, right? Thinking about the American League Central, there are no real dominant teams. There's good organizations, but you don't get necessarily a lot of big payrolls. Now the Detroit Tigers, they went in pretty aggressive this offseason. Has not worked out well for them. Both them and the Kansas City Royals had higher expectations, but there's always a division you feel like you'll have a chance, right? You're not dealing with a Dodgers type of team or Yankees, Red Sox, big payrolls that are hard to compete with. For the most part, they're kind of in very similar boats. There's always a chance here if you can put together a good team in the Central.
Wins serves it to center. Here's Peters. White Sox will have the #1 pick in this summer's draft, early August. Cholowski, the shortstop from the UCLA Bruins, is the perceived #1 pick. There's a look at the standings. A game and a half behind the Guardians. A disappointing season in both Detroit and Kansas City.
Yeah, big time. And I mentioned payroll. $88 million is about the payroll here for the White Sox. That is 27th in baseball.
Sweeper for a strike to Acuna. Hit by a pitch his last time up. Chris Getz is the general manager. Certainly helps that they have the #1 overall pick. They also have a pretty good shortstop of their own right. So there's some doubt as to whether or not they take the guy that everybody has already assumed would go 1-1, which is Cholowski.
And then the other kid was a high school shortstop as well, as far as kind of looking at some of the best talent that's available. Our sport is different, right? I think generally you don't draft by position. Now when you have a big time college shortstop like that, though, you feel like he may not be that far away from the big leagues.
Yeah, they're closer than they've ever been, right? In terms of rushing them through the system.
The question becomes who's going to be, of those two guys, who ends up becoming your second baseman, who ends up showing he can go to the outfield.
Acuna to third. Vargas from deep sends a two-hopper to first, and just in time, and Ronald is limping his way in right field.
We know there have been quite a few lower body issues for Ronald Acuna Jr., both of those knees. And the reaction here is not one that you want to see. Heck of an effort to try to beat that out from Ronald. And he is walking as if he knows one way or the other what may have happened there. See Ronald taking a peek and trying to beat this thing out. And yeah, maybe with the throw being on the dirt is almost a little bit of a kind of a half step there, and he's hobbling pretty significantly.
Watch his right knee right on that second to last step.
Yeah. Can't tell. Looks like he's trying to stay off the left leg there. I'm not sure, but you're right. But going back to the shortstop situation, you take the best player you can get. Go look at the San Diego Padres and how many shortstops they actually have in their lineup, including Merrill Kelly, who is their center fielder, and Fernando Tatis Jr., who's their right fielder. Right, take the best athletes that they prove that they can hit the big league level. You find a way to make it work.
White Sox are chasing that same thing with Luis Angel, who was going to be their starting center fielder this season as a middle infielder. Meidroth and Gonzalez at short. Antonacci.
Rafaela in Boston, right? He's an infielder and a good one. He turns into a Gold Glove center fielder. So I don't think that will get in the way as far as what position the guy's playing as an amateur.
Harris fouls off the high fastball. And the sweeper misses away. All-Star break last year, Michael was slugging 183 against elevated fastballs. The number's at 258 now.
It's been a big difference. He still chases. Michael Harris is always going to chase. It's not going to go away. I do think he's got a little bit of a better understanding, and Walt has talked about this, where he can still do damage outside of the strike zone. He has unbelievable coverage, and he gets the barrel to the baseball pretty often, but that means both up and down for Michael Harris.
And he reaches this one, little tapper that Acuna is able to come in front of, but Michael beats it out.
The coverage here is pretty incredible. Now, of course, you don't swing at this pitch and it ends up being a ball and you have a full count here, but with Michael's speed, it's a good effort by Acuna, but just not enough time to get Michael Harris.
And so the man of the night gets another at bat against Fetty. And he drives it to center field. Peters back. It is into his glove with a little hop. That close to his third home run of the night.
I'll take a look. Did it have enough to get out of here? Oh, that's close. It may have. But either way, for Matt Olson, it's an F8 and a big smile.
Jacob Gonzalez takes the first pitch curveball for a strike. He's for one of the ground out to short. Braves lead at 4-2. Olson gave one a ride to end the previous half inning. And Eli White has taken over for Ronald Acuna in right field.
And we will wait on word from the Atlanta Braves and their medical staff as far as what maybe the initial diagnosis is, and we'll keep our fingers crossed here for Ronald.
Ronald grounded out to third in the top of the fourth and came up limping after running through the bag. Gonzalez sends it to right and down in front of Eli.
So this becomes a somewhat important inning right after the Chicago White Sox score 2 in the bottom of the third. Matt Olson just misses hitting a home run. There's a little bit of momentum that feels like it could be on the White Sox side. And so for Grant Holmes, if you can find a way to post a 0 right now, I think that would go a long way.
Here's Chase Meidroth. He singled with one out in the second inning, became the first White Sox to reach base, extending an on-base streak now to 20 games. A first pitch fastball for a strike.
Good batting average guy. Good job of getting on base for him. And only 3 ground ball double plays. Not a lot of double plays on the ground for this White Sox lineup. Start thinking about certain guys in the lineup. Where can you go to generate that ground ball when you have nobody on? Runner over at first base.
Gonzalez has only been up for 7, now 8 games, and doesn't have a stolen base attempt yet. He was a high school quarterback growing up in Southern California, so he should have some wheels. Two and two.
So the challenge you have here for the Chicago White Sox when it comes to Grant Holmes, start number 13, he has yet to allow a stolen base so far this year. Just 0 for 1 against it. Now Braves catchers have thrown okay, not great, but Grant does an excellent job of being quick to the plate.
He's got Austin Wynns behind the plate tonight.
It's the kind of pitcher that catchers really like, the ones that are going to give you a chance by holding runners, mixing your looks. Again, being quick to the plate the way that Grant Holmes is.
And he hits him. Gonzalez was on the move. It's the second hit batter of the season for Grant Holmes.
So it stings a little bit because it's 95 miles an hour. There's 0 intent here. Of course, we know Ronald got hit earlier, but you're not going to get to a 3-2 count with a runner at first base in a 2-run ball game and hit a guy on purpose. Now here's the other thing with Grant. What we've noticed this year is that there's always been kind of the one big inning that's gone away from him, and it actually more often than not has been the 4th inning, for whatever it's worth. So again, this becomes pretty important for Grant to make sure that this one does not get away from him.
And the rookie right fielder Braden Montgomery from Braves Country, Madison, Mississippi. Out of Madison Central High School, he was the Mississippi Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior. Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, first season on a farm at Stanford. Went down swinging his first time up. Montgomery was originally the first-round pick of the Red Sox, 12th overall in the 24 draft. He came over in the Garrett Crochet deal, as we mentioned. Through the hole on the left side, Gonzalez will be waved home. And the Sox have made it a one-run game on the first major league hit for Braden Montgomery. We'll take that one out of play.
They got ahead in the count 2-0. And did a nice job of not trying to get too big on a 2-0 fastball. That baseball will get its authentication. They make it efficient now these days. But here comes that 2-0 fastball we're talking about. Elevated here, 94. It's a nice little piece of hitting. It's some room on the left side. You got a runner in scoring position. Very mature approach there from Montgomery.
Tristan Peters struck out his first time up. Shows Buck tried to drag his way on. And went off of him in the batter's box. 0-1. .26-year-old Tristan Peters made his debut last year for Tampa Bay. Long and windy road for him to get to the big leagues. He spent some time with the Savannah Bananas back in 21.
All right, so that's the first time I've heard that about a big leaguer. He spent
I think he's the
time
first
with the Bananas like he wasn't playing anywhere.
That's right. Yeah. He was singing and swinging.
No way.
With the Savannah Bananas. I don't think he was the guy on stilts, do you?
Hope not.
And he rips it to right field. Eli White back towards the warning track. Meidroth will tag and dig over to third. And that's out number 1 here in the 4th. Luis Angel Acuna is the 8-hole hitter for the White Sox. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to third.
You take something like that against similar here for Grant Holmes, right? You got a first and third situation. The middle is going to play back with the idea that you might have that opportunity. 4 ground ball double plays for Acuna this year, which has been in a limited role.
And he squeezes it. Tag made by Wins. You mentioned earlier tonight, not only the White Sox a good power hitting team, but they'll get creative and they'll run.
And not afraid to bunt. 20 sack bunts on the year for the White Sox, most in baseball. This one, though, not a good one. He deadened it too much. And a really nice job by Austin Wins to get that baseball and get the tag on. I think. Listen, too late now. Statute of limitations has run out as far as challenging that, but that tag was kind of close.
Here's Drew Romo. Holmes trying to get out of the inning, having only allowed 1 run after the first 3 reached. A single, a hit batter, and another single.
So if you get out of this, of course, that bunt and the failure of the execution of the safety squeeze ends up being huge. Like to see Grant take advantage.
Montgomery at second, Acuna at first. And Romo wants some time. Nice block by Austin Wins.
This is the one you want to have now, as we see Dylan Dodd has gotten up in the Atlanta Braves bullpen, right? You're at the 9-hole hitter. The count has now been worked full after getting ahead 1-2, but he really would like to finish it right now.
9-hole hitter. The pitch just off the plate inside with the slider, and the White Sox have loaded the bases here in the 4th. .22 pitch 4th inning already for Grant.
He's had to work hard here. A couple of walks in the inning. A couple of base hits as well. And how about this? Walt Weiss is coming out to get Grant Holmes.
It'll be Dylan Dodd out of the Atlanta Braves bullpen. He'll enter with the bases loaded. 2 down in the 4th in a 1-run game. Home half of the 4th inning. White Sox still batting with the bases loaded and 2 down here in the south side of Chicago. And Dylan Dodd out of the bullpen for the Braves. 1.42 ERA. And he will start with left-handed hitting Sam Antonacci. Lefty's hitting .211 against him.
16 strikeouts you see there to just 2 walks. Now a big part of what's going on with Dylan Dodd, he's always had the really good cutter. We've seen the slider a little bit more, and he's been much improved in what he has done against left-handed hitters.
Antonacci 0 for 1 with a walk and a first pitch in the dirt. Shortest outing, by the way, for Grant Holmes since July 11th of last year against the Cardinals.
That 4th inning again, for whatever the reason, has been the bugaboo for Grant Holmes this year.
The game turned over to the best bullpen in baseball. As a relief corps, an ERA of .296, and this ball is lifted to right. Eli White is there, and the White Sox strand the bases loaded. They gift a run with the failed safety squeeze. Braves hold on to a 1-run lead.
CJ Nikowski, Tom Hart with you. Top of the 5th inning. Braves lead it by 1. Now it's time to check out our Yellowwood, bringing the lumber feature. And how about the lumber that the Braves have brought here over their last 12 road games, scoring better than 6 runs per game. Nice 9-3 record. And it has been happening here tonight. Now a little bit closer than we'd like, but it's been another good game for the Braves away from Truist.
Best road record in the game, and have won 9 of 12. Why didn't Gretchen trust you to do that?
She doesn't think I know how to read. Now, in her defense, she may have been witness to my verbal on my SATs, but that was a long time ago, and I'd like that not to be held against me anymore.
Ozzie rolls one over. Here's my drop. And the first time Ozzie's retired tonight. I thought you were fantastic, no matter what Gretchen says.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It feels good. Now, I think it's clear. I'm kind of a math guy. I like the numbers. I did well on that side of the SAT. That whole reading comprehension thing. Blech. No, thank you.
Now, if you would have gotten hooked on phonics, it would have been a totally different story.
That's right. He's a little more of a conjunction junction guy.
That's your function. First pitch to Mauricio, reached on catcher's interference last time up. Romo tried to bring that one back. Backhanded by Vargas. 2 down. Let's get a quick message from our friends at Delta.
From Braves country to the world. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
4-3 Braves with the lead, top of the 5th. Game 1 of this road trip. You see the Braves head to New York this weekend. And Dominic Smith swings at the first.
Early effort here for Tarps off at right field. Up in left field, this has been something that has taken the baseball world by storm. We saw it in Truist over the homestand, and they got about, I don't know, call it a dozen or so, maybe a few more. Now the
Do
guy.
tank tops count?
No, get that. You listen, I would kick that guy out of the club. Listen, if you want to do it, you got to go all the way in. And I don't mean to be the mean guy that wants to kick anybody out of the club, but I think the rules are pretty clear.
I think so. I don't see a whole lot of folks running to join him.
Now, it'll take a little while. We got 2 tank tops in there. Should be some real peer pressure happening right now. It takes a while, but it's a movement. It's slowly building. Now, the other part of that, I think, if you're the Atlanta Braves, is that do you have an opportunity to kind of squash what's happening with tarps off? Like, say, Dom Smith hits a homer here. Braves put a big inning together. Perhaps the energy dies down.
I just saw one kid run up there and join him. So slowly but surely they're adding.
Got them, I'll say, again, what, maybe 20, 22. There comes another kid. That will at minimum double in size in the next inning.
Smith skies it to shallow center. Here's Acuna. 1-2-3 frame worked by Eric Fetty. Finally, with a Wells Fargo Active Mike Field Report presented by the Active Cash Card.
Well, the Braves have Austin Wynns behind the plate again tonight. He is the 6th different catcher the Braves have used this season. That's just one shy of the franchise record dating back to 1901. And for what it's worth, there have been 2 teams that used 7 back in 1929. Nice play by Maurice. Oh, and then 2021 when they won the World Series. So one more catcher, and we can get those rings made.
Who's next?
That is kind of amazing, really, to think about that many catchers this early. But they've done a good job defensively. I know there's been some talk about some of the offensive struggles behind the plate. It'll be very good to get Drake Baldwin back, who has really emerged as one of the best in all of baseball.
Here's Andrew Benintendi.
And I did have a chance to speak with Dustin Garneau, the Braves catching coach, and he kind of explained that bringing in a new catcher this time of year is going to be challenging, but compared to 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, there is so much information, so much homework you can do before you even arrive at the ballpark. Do you have a pretty good feel of what you're working with by the time you get here? And CJ, I remember you think back to your days, it was more probably just a conversation of here's what I like to do with my slider, these are the times I like to go to my changeup. It's really amazing how the distribution of information has evolved over the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, back in my day, we used Western Union, send telegrams to each other, or have a horse ride it over to somebody so they could get that information as well. But you're absolutely right. It was all about conversations, all the scouting reports for the most part. Now, more advanced scouting was happening, but what you're talking about in particular, there was no way. It would take a lot longer to get comfortable and really get a feel. Right? That conversation, even as a pitcher, you go to a new team, and so you have some new catchers that you're working with, didn't go to spring training, they don't know anything about you. They're going to ask about your arsenal. They're going to ask about what you like to throw behind in the count. What spots in the zone do you think your fastball works best, right? I mean, it is conversational, and it takes a lot longer to get comfortable.
Benintendi shoots this one to center. Michael Harris all the way back to the warning track and hauls it in. If you miss it, Walt Weiss's comments before the game today is that Baldwin will head down to Northport, face live pitching there on Thursday and Friday. And then eventually head to Gwinnett and start a rehab assignment.
The big one there is
hopeful game Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, but the big one there is going to be recovery, right? Especially when you're dealing with the oblique. How do you feel after the fact? How comfortable are you letting it fly? They're not going to put him in a game until he is fully comfortable in that controlled atmosphere down in Northport, taking those full swings.
It's been down for Jacob Gonzalez. Singled and scored his last time up. And he sends this one into the corner, but foul.
Yeah, I think the plan right now for Drake is he'll face some live pitching on Thursday and Friday down at the complex, which, by the way, he ought to face A.J. Smith-Shawver, who's obviously coming back from Tommy John surgery. And then Saturday and Sunday get some game action and then kind of evaluate from there. But that is good news for the Braves, getting Drake Baldwin back in the fold.
Yeah, A.J. Smith-Shawver would be really interesting to see how he does. I do a bad job of talking about all the guys that are hurt and potentially coming back. A.J. is right in there in the mix. We think about Spencer Schwellenbach and Hurston Waldrop, but prior to AJ getting hurt and having that Tommy John surgery, he was throwing the ball really well. The depth of Atlanta Braves pitching should be in a great place here in a couple of months.
3-1 to Gonzalez. Drake's OPS is still good for 8th in Major League Baseball, 3rd in the National League at .932. Been out since May 18th. The Tarps-Off crew has grown.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's like a fungus. They'll probably double from where they are right now. There's about 3 tank tops though mixed in there.
The only thing they're missing is somebody dressed as a Revolutionary War hero. Time now for a quick message from Chevrolet.
Get into a 2026 Chevy Trax, starting at $23,495. Proud partner of the Atlanta Braves.
So that's 3 straight innings right now here for the Braves where they have allowed 2 out walks. And it was a big one in the 3rd inning, which gave Vargas an opportunity to hit that home run.
And Meidroth gets his cleats taken out from underneath him. Remember, he got hit by a pitch last time up.
It's nothing personal, right? But you have a guy who is good with the bat, good bat-to-ball skills. That means he's usually going to be good on pitches out over the plate. You don't want him getting too comfortable. Now it's a 2-seam fastball that ran too far in here for Dylan Dodd.
Sky high, and that will end up, well, foul and Souvenir upper tank. Gonzalez at first. The 1-1.
And the other thing, and you can kind of see by the way he stands, he's pretty far off the plate. And so there's a lot of space in there, but then he opens up. You see how he starts opened up, right? It's going to close as his swing goes on, and so you're trying to prevent him from diving out over the plate. One of the great Chicago White Sox and one of the best we've ever seen, and Frank Thomas was like that. Now he started close, but he was really far off the plate. It's very kind of deceiving as a pitcher. You see all that space over there, and you feel like you have a lot of room to work a hitter away. You really don't, because Frank could cover that as good as anybody in the game and take you out to right field. So you had to throw him in, but there's a lot of space in there.
And the 2-2's lined into left field. Racing in is Yaz, and he makes the catch to end the inning. 5 complete, 4-3 Braves.
Braves have a 1-run lead going to the 6th inning. Here's Austin Riley leading off. And guys, I had a chance to catch up with both Austin and Tim Hires talking about Austin's swing. And Austin felt like he's gotten a little bit of a bad habit of pushing his hands. What he means by that is the barrel's a little too steep when it enters the hitting zone, and then it becomes steep coming out of the zone. In other words, think of sort of a V type of shape with his swing as it comes across home plate. They've been working on trying to flatten things out a little bit, get on playing earlier, and again, it's just a bad habit, Austin, is how he described it.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's a really good visual that Wiley kind of lays out there and seeing what the issue could be. So what's going to happen when you're doing that? You're going to get under pitches. You're going to pop them up. There's going to be some swing and miss maybe that you otherwise would not expect to happen. And it seems simple, right? Don't just make your swing level, but there's a lot of things that Austin Riley does well that you don't want to completely give up, right? You're not selling out to just have a flat kind of swing that all of a sudden gives up some of your really good slug, especially to the opposite field. You know, Tim Hires right there has been working hard with Austin Riley.
Got him at the top of the zone.
And Austin has been pretty hesitant to challenge. He's maybe challenged once or twice this year. It hasn't been much. And a 2-seam fastball in the top of the zone here, maybe comes back and catches it. It is borderline.
Here's Mike Yastrzemski, 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Had a good road trip on the last swing, went 5 for 8 with a double and drove in 3. Ahead in the count 2-0 to Fetty, who's sticking around. Brandon Eisert was the opener. He lasted just 2/3 of an inning. This will be the 80th pitch of the game for Fetty. Threw only 61 his last time out.
Last time he had a regular start, mentioned the 61 pitches. He did get through 5 innings doing that. His previous 2 outings, there was an opener in front of him. There was some struggle in there. He had an opener start, or an opener appearance, I guess I should say, against the Giants, where he gave up 8 runs in 3 1/3 innings.
Tyler Gilbert getting loose for Chicago. First 11 appearances for Fetty. Allowed 13 home runs, one of just 17 pitchers to allow that many home runs since 1947. Smoked past Gonzalez, and Yastrzemski's got a 1-out single.
Well, sweeper here that you get, and not nearly as much movement as we've seen on this pitch earlier in this game for Eric Fetty. Nice piece of hitting there, 97 off the bat for Yaz. I'm wondering to get a couple of righties here. You mentioned the lefty that's warming up in the bullpen right now in Gilbert. It's Wins and then it's White before you get to Michael Harris.
Sweeper for a strike to Austin Wins, who's 0 for 2. Back to the sweeper. How predictable does a guy like Fetty become?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you talk about how, the pitches that he has, but how he uses them to right-handed and left-handed hitters. There's a little bit of variation, changeup being a big part of that the righties don't see very often.
And a knock for Wins. That snaps an 0 for 20. Yastrzemski heads to third. Pardon me, an 0 for 22. And the Braves in business with runners at the corners. Unfortunately, it's not Ronald Acuna at the top of the order after what happened in the 4th.
Good piece of hitting, though, here from Austin Wins in a big spot where the Braves are trying to create some space, and he fought off a elevated sinker. But to your question, I don't think he is that predictable. There's enough in there, even though he uses that sweeper a lot. As an example, I thought he was going to go back to the sweeper against Wins after the 0-1, but he ended up going backdoor 2-seam fastball.
So first plate appearance for Eli White. And the infield in for Chicago.
Not a bad idea thinking about a potential safety squeeze. You have a good bunter in Eli White, but you also have the infield in and trying to poke one through. That would play as well.
Picked up by Gonzalez. He comes home. Romo will chase Yastrzemski back to the bag, and now Vargas puts the tag on. Tough luck on a hard hit ball right at Jacob Gonzalez.
You don't mind it, though, right? Because if Yaz doesn't go, and they could potentially turn that double play, even though Eli White runs extremely well. Now, you had the infield in, which meant your shortstop was going to be a little bit late getting to the bag. Good piece of hitting. Unfortunately, right at the first baseman in that spot, but the fact that there wasn't 2 outs on this ground ball, I think, is a more important conclusion.
And with Michael Harris due up, the White Sox would go to the bullpen. Braves have a pair on. Back to Chicago in a moment. 4-3 lead for the Braves. Top of the 6th inning. Tyler Gilbert is the new pitcher for the White Sox. He's coming off of an opener appearance Sunday at Philly when he went 2/3 of an inning with 2 hits. This is just his 4th outing of the year.
Another guy who uses the sweeper. He's also got a 2-seam fastball. It's not overpowering. Sits around 90 miles an hour. Cutter, 4-seamer, and he's even thrown 1 split finger so far this year.
Michael Harris is 2 for 3. And a challenge from Romo.
I think he's going to get this one, but Romo has been okay with his challenges. 44% below league average, but he gets that one right. Smell that, by the way?
Yeah. Where's that coming from?
So it's part of the booth here, part of the experience in Chicago. It's the Jerry Reinsdorf cigar that I believe he's smoking right below us.
Blown away. Tipped in the catcher's mitt. Mentioned Michael's open stance and elevating the hands last year. His OPS against left-handed spin went from 533 up to 848. So since the All-Star break last year.
Part of it's his ability to see the baseball better from this position.
Reaches for it. And Gilbert will take it halfway to first. Braves miss an opportunity. Strand a pair in the 6th. 1-run game. Tarps off growing. All right, Sarah, thank you. Bottom of the 6th inning here in Chicago. Tom Hart alongside C.J. Nikowski with the Wildcat, Wiley Ballard. Did you know that was his nickname in high school?
I did not, but I absolutely love it, and thank you for sharing it.
That was my pregame research.
The Wildcat?
It fits, doesn't it? I kind of thought maybe somebody would have gone with Coyote at some point. No, it's the Wildcat. There's a rookie, Braden Montgomery, Major League debut, picked up an RBI singles last time up.
You see Dylan Dodd right now getting stretched out here a little bit. An inning and a third so far. Looks like there is some action in the Braves bullpen. Now he has been on a run where they've been mostly shorter outings as Carlos Carrasco starts taking his warm-up tosses, but he has had some longer ones earlier this year, including 2 3-inning outings. One was in April, another one in May, but over his last 5 it's been an inning or less.
Bottom half of the order here goes switch left, and then the right-hander Acuna. And Montgomery dispatched. Take a look at our Home Depot working on a win feature. Best ERA in baseball for guys currently on the roster. 1.77 ERA and the best overall as well.
Yeah, this bullpen has been incredible. I think this is probably a better way to look at it, right? You can look at the numbers and how it's been all season long, and the Braves have been good. Sub-3 best in baseball. You start looking at their actual active relievers, and that number gets even more special. A little pinch hitter here, and Randall Grichuk now, who's always been kind of this left-handed specialist, if you will, on the hitting side.
He's hitting for Tristan Peters, and a swing and a miss on the sinker to start him off.
Now again, you look at the numbers and you look at some of the history, and this is not an issue. And a big part of the Braves' success has been that they have been split neutral, and if anything for Dylan Dodd, better against the righties than the lefties.
Appeal denied. Chad Whitson down the right field line, first base line. Grichuk had a couple of hits last time out against the Phillies. He's got a pair of pinch hit home runs this season. Both have come against the Mariners. Straight back.
It's been a lengthy career here for Randal Grichuk. 13 years in the big leagues. The White Sox, I believe, are now his 9th different team. Or 8. How'd I do in my counting?
I thought you were good at math.
I missed it. It's the Ocho.
It's hard to claim that math is your strong suit if the counting comes up.
Well,
we haven't even gotten into the
rush counting of lines. Like, I'm looking at teams. It doesn't give you the team number. I'm like trying to guess how many lines there were there. That's fair. That is absolutely fair.
Missed inside with a sinker. Second walk from Dodd. He entered in the 4th with the bases loaded, got out of trouble, and that will be the end of the line for Dylan Dodd. 4-3 Braves clinging to the lead with a man on, and Carlos Carrasco will enter. To you by Comcast Business. All in connection and protection your small business can rely on. No one does business like Comcast Business. By Georgia Natural Gas. Simple savings right here. Visit gng.com. And by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. 1 on and 1 out of the 6th. Braves lead the White Sox 4-3. It's the 8-hole hitter Luis Angel Acuna to face Carlos Carrasco. His 5th appearance this year. ERA at 2.45.
39 years old for Carlos Carrasco, and he's done a really nice job here in limited opportunities with the Atlanta Braves. Changeup, 2-seam fastball, cutter, slider, 4-seamer in there as well. And Carlos Carrasco, when he first started playing professional baseball, there were quite a few of these Chicago White Sox who were still in diapers.
Righty's just 1 for 9 against Carrasco this year. Grichuk, the runner at first. Pulled to the right side, and that one gets under the glove of Ozzie. Headed to third is Grichuk. Edgar Carroll with the base hit and a pinch hit roll, and the White Sox have runners at the corners.
Tell you what, Eli White made that a little bit more interesting, I think, than anybody anticipated. Good pitch from Carlos Carrasco. He gets the ground ball that he's looking for. Front door, 2-seam fastball. Just hit it in a good spot. Unfortunately, just out of the reach here of Ozzie Albies. You hit that a few feet to the left, and it's probably an inning-ending double play.
And so Carroll will immediately be taken off for a pinch runner as Hill enters. Back-to-back pinch hitters have reached for Chicago. Grichuk the walk, and then Carroll the base hit. Bunt shown, and the slider misses low and in to Drew Romo. Two and 0.
We mentioned it, this team not afraid to lay down a sac bunt for Romo. Just 1 for him so far this season.
Gets it down. Here comes the runner. Olson's got him in a rundown. Chase Grichuk back to the bag and didn't even need the flip.
That is some bad base running from Randal Grichuk. You either read it and go or you don't go. And he just kind of started and stopped. You'll watch him here. Not much of a secondary. He went hard and realized he had a bad read. It's a safety squeeze, which means you go if you think you can make it. Excellent work by Matt Olson. Nobody surprised there to get the out. That's now the second time here, as much as these guys have bunted. We told you, leading baseball with 20 sack bunts. 2 here tonight that they did not execute well and got them in trouble.
Been a host of mistakes for the White Sox tonight. The 2 thrown out trying to come home and a pair of errors. And now Sam Antonacci at the top of the order. Close. A couple of flyouts and a walk for Antonacci. Derek Hill, the runner at second. Romo aboard first. And there's action in the White Sox bullpen with Grant Taylor getting loose. Into right field. White comes up throwing around third. Hill, and he is out at the plate. Eli White with a bullet from right field.
They're thinking about challenging it. We'll see. They are going to challenge this. And the question becomes whether or not the foot got in. It was an excellent throw from Eli White, and on the money. He got it all the way there in the air. Now, it sounds like they're probably going to challenge 2 things here. One, when you see Will Venable come out like that, they're going to want to challenge the tag, and they may want to challenge the blocking the plate rule, which I don't think they'll have a chance on, but you go ahead and throw it out there anyway.
Chicago is challenging blocking of home plate as well as the out call at home plate.
It's Bill Miller.
So I'm confident on the blocking the play part that they should be fine. The throw took them there, and a great one from Eli White. You know, sometimes it's about the setup. So you know what? They actually may have a case there. We will see. You're supposed to be in fair territory. Now, again, did the throw take them there? And you see Austin Wynch trying to get out of the way to make sure that there is a clear lane. You see where he's standing, right? That's part of the potential problem. The tag, absolutely, he is out. There was a game here 3 years ago. I was calling games for the Texas Rangers, and it kind of set the baseball world on fire. Jonah Heim was catching, and he had his foot in foul territory, and the runner coming around third hadn't even been to third base yet. He was out by a mile, and they called blocking the plate because 1 foot was in foul territory at the time. It seemed absolutely ridiculous. I feel like baseball has moved away from that here a little bit, but this one is going to be very interesting. And what you really need to see is where is Austin Wynn when the throw was made? And did the high throw start to take him into foul territory, which normally is okay. If he's set up in foul territory blocking the plate, that's where he potentially gets himself in trouble.
After review, there was no blocking of home plate. The call at home plate, the out call has been...
So you see it there, right? You see he was in the right position prior to the throw being made. It was the throw that kind of took him into foul territory, which is the way it should be. They got it right.
High wire act continues for the Braves. Into the 6th, 1-run lead for Atlanta. Take a look at who's got the sauce, brought to you by Zaxby's. Matt Olson on the road has the most home runs and most extra base hits in all of baseball. Adding to those numbers with a couple of home runs tonight.
It's been incredible to see. Again, doesn't matter home or road here for Matt Olson. Doesn't matter if it's a left-handed pitcher or a right-handed pitcher. Everything going right for him. Well, that was exciting. That was a really exciting inning and a great play by Eli White, who comes in for Ronald Acuna Jr., which I still don't think we've heard an update on what's going on with him. And we also saw the White Sox empty the bench, not completely, but got pretty close.
2 pinch hitters, a pinch runner, all in that inning.
They only got Montgomery, the left-handed hitting shortstop, left on the bench, and so they moved some things around defensively as well. I think I got it right. Is it Grichuk in left, Hill in center? My drop is over at short, and Antonacci at second.
All those moves kind of feels like a spring training game.
A little bit. At least these guys have normal numbers and their names on the back of their jerseys in spring training. I would have not have said any of that with the confidence level in which I said it.
Olsen homered each of his first 2 at bats. And he flew out to deep center last time up.
What I like about the way both of these managers are doing it, right? It's only the second year for Will Venable, but he's gotten aggressive. You saw it there in the 6th inning with his pinch hitters and even what he did with his opener. So Walt get very aggressive with Grant Holmes. I know it's been a frustrating part of what's happened with him this year, but again, the 4th inning had been rough. He did not like the idea of Grant Holmes facing the leadoff hitter for a 3rd time in Antonacci, so he went to Dodd in the 4th inning and has left him out there. And even Carrasco, right, not trying to get to the big guns too early in that Atlanta Braves bullpen.
Did Gilbert challenge it? Walk to Olsen. You can send your Braves to Philly this summer for the 2020. He did.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. We'll certainly make sure we pay that bill. But this is a home plate umpire, Jonathan Parra, stepped back out and asked the pitcher, "Did you challenge?" Because he started to, and he said yes. And they burned one because of it.
Well, he was very casual for Gilbert as he tapped his hat as he was walking towards the plate.
Yep, that's why you don't let pitchers do it. It's all emotion. They have really struggled with those challenges.
Here's Ozzie as Olsen reaches again, and first pitch to Vargas, but foul. What's the pitcher success rate?
I'm going to find it here. I want to say it was like 43%, but that may have even gone down here. Let's take a peek. So the fielders, that means the catchers are at 59. Pitchers are at 34%.
Thanks for coming.
Oof. Don't do it.
Oh, 2 to Ozzie with Olsen aboard.
Interesting reaction there from Gilbert. Either he was frustrated with the pitch that he threw or almost looked like he might have felt something there. Maybe not.
Ozzie doubled and scored back in the 3rd. All-Star games in Philly this summer. Any fans who select the Braves as their favorite team will be rewarded with an offer of 20% off 4 tickets to a future Atlanta home game. Visit Braves.com/vote. Cast your ballot for Matt Olson, Michael Harris II, Drake Baldwin, and the rest of your favorite. I wasn't even looking.
No, he didn't. I didn't know he traveled with that.
I heard somebody was at Hartsfield Jackson this morning. They said he not only did he travel with it, he traveled while wearing it.
Why not? I mean, it's an automatic upgrade, right? Right to the front of the line there for the Wildcat.
That is Emmy Award winning.
I mean, get in there. Those men will welcome you, Wiley. They're looking for a leader. Oh, so no mic right now, so he can't talk. They're trying to get him to take his shirt off. I think that's what they're. Are they saying take it off?
Powdered wig? What are they yelling? Here's Vargas in front of the bag at 3rd, puts it in his pocket, and Ozzie reaches.
Poor Wiley. I mean, there's a little rally going on right now. He basically can't move. You got to stay there. His mic doesn't work, so he can't report from there at all.
He can hear us, though.
Yeah.
Boy, those Georgia Tech costume parties must be something else.
This guy's taking pictures. Sir George.
Braves country is Bronco.
4-3 Braves, top of the 7th inning, and the White Sox going back to the bullpen. This is Tyler Davis making his 19th appearance of the year.
So it's been mostly kind of these lower velocity fastballs that we have seen That changes now. Tyler Davis sits at 96. His fastball has been his best pitch. Slider and split in the mix as well.
And Mauricio Dubon fouls the first one back.
So righties are hitting just 080 against his fastball. As you take a look at Mauricio Dubon and what he has done with runners on. Incredibly impressive at 326 compared to when those bases are empty.
This one will reach the seats. We got an update on Ronald Acuna Jr. Left the game after his at-bat in the 4th inning. The word is left hamstring tightness.
So that's a little bit more encouraging, right? You get concerned always with Ronald in the lower body and the knees and the issues that he has had there. Not that you're thrilled that he got to come out of the game, but if it's a hamstring, it's a hot night. Hopefully it is nothing too significant.
Fouled off.
This is what we have seen from Mauricio Dubon, these 2-strike counts where he eliminates that leg kick, and he just did it right there. He fouls off a pretty good 98-mile-an-hour fastball that was on the corner, maybe a little bit off. And what it's turned into a lot of times is either he's hitting that ball the other way or he's getting something off speed in the middle of the plate. There he goes again. Good numbers there with 2 strikes at that .219 batting average. 17 RBIs.
Braves, one of the best 2-strike hitting teams in baseball. Clinched at it. In on the hands and popped up the fastball. Vargas for out number 1.
So if you're sitting in the lower bowl, so you got some pretty decent seats somewhere around the infield, and what's the age limit on when your son looks at you and says, "Can I go up to the tarps off section?" Like, let him go at 12 on his own up there?
Sure, they look like a friendly group.
I mean, Wiley is up there. He's kind of like the parent of the group.
Wiley turned into a celebrity up there on the road. He had to turn down some of the paparazzi who wanted to get pictures with him. Dominic Smith looking for his first hit of the night. That one caught Romo.
That split didn't really have a lot of depth to it. And then glove and then left knee there on Romo.
Ripped to the right side again. It finds the gloves of Gonzalez to second for 1, back to first, and the White Sox turn it. 3-6-1 double play as the Braves strand 1 in the top of the 7th. Coming up, it's a stretch presented by Georgia Natural Gas.
Welcome to the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Service, savings, sustainability. It's that simple.
Welcome into the stretch, fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. You know, Pete, you said at the top of this game that the key to the game was going to be setting the tone. And I think that Matt Olson really heeded your advice.
I think he heard exactly what we said in the pregame show. You know, there was a time a couple of weeks ago where I was calling Matt Olson a table setter. You know, a guy that would get on base and be allowed to be driven in by the rest of the team. Well, today he proved exactly what he is and who he is. He leads the majors in almost every category. So I know it's all-star voting time right now, but I'm thinking a little bit further along in the season. He is on his way to being in consideration for the MVP this year. I have no doubt in my mind. And by the way, as if 2 wasn't enough, he flew out to straightaway center field in his third at bat of the game, which almost made it out of the park there at right field. But for Matteo, just back to what he does best, hitting baseballs all over the place. That left-handed swing is as sweet as it gets, and we're seeing plenty of it tonight, and I'm ready for more. I think probably going to get at least one more at bat, too.
I sure hope so. Well, we're going to get you back to some Braves baseball after a quick word from our friends at Georgia Natural Gas.
When it comes to natural gas in Georgia, G&G leads the league. We keep it simple with great rates that save you money. We even make it easy to reduce your carbon footprint with greener life. Sign up in minutes at gng.com. It's that simple.
Braves led this game 4-0 going into the bottom of the third. The White Sox fought back for 2 in the third, scratched 1 across in the fourth, but an outfield assist for Eli White. Some bad dancing in the stands. That guy's wearing Wiley's shirt.
It's Wiley's shirt.
White Sox have had 3 base runners thrown out trying to score tonight. Here's Miguel Vargas. And a first pitch strike from Carlos Carrasco.
So here's what we know. The bullpen was pushed pretty hard during that homestand, and we have seen Walt Weiss kind of take this kind of progressive approach, and while he's been aggressive at times, but also trying to build in some rest the best that he possibly can. Yesterday was a complete off day for everybody, for the entire team, of course, which means the bullpen gets a complete day off. But to me, it feels like if you have Carlos Carrasco out here in a 1-run game in the 7th inning, that maybe you're trying to push and stretch a little bit, as you now see Robert Suarez taking his warm-up tosses. If Dylan Lee had been pushed a little bit hard, he might be trying to sneak either an extra day in for him. Raisel Iglesias,
especially with 2, 3, and 4 coming up.
It's interesting. So I think there's definitely something to the bullpen strategy tonight here for Walt, where he's kind of pushing those secondary guys a little bit to help out what have been the priority arms in that bullpen.
Vargas turned around a 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Grant Holmes back in the third for a 2-run home run. Two from Carrasco. And the slider low. Braves have issued a walk in 4 separate innings tonight. Yanked foul. And the payoff popped up right behind home plate and into the seats. Wins had to try to fight through Jonathan Parra to chase that one.
And it was well into the stands, but you never know, right? Whether there's some wind, how much spin is on that baseball, will it ultimately come back into play? You take no chances.
Had to been an illegal screen, right? He's moving his feet.
A lot, too. Not even trying to hide it. It's been 2 different kinds of fastballs so far here from Carrasco in this full count.
And he loses them with a leadoff walk. Here's Andrew Benintendi. Cutter for strike 1.
Well, Carrasco at this point in his career, and by the way, that's the first walk that he's had this year with the Braves. It's about contact. It's about keeping the baseball off the barrel, and he is still crafty at 39 years old.
And Benintendi gains the advantage, 2-1. One to Benintendi. Pulled into right field. Vargas around second, heads to third. And again, the White Sox had the tying run just 90 feet away, this time with nobody out.
He tried to change up here on a 3-1 count, hoping he could get a rollover, but Benintendi stays on it pretty nicely as he laces that thing into right field.
Two teams have combined to strand 15 tonight. Braves would love to see that number jump to 17 as Jacob Gonzalez comes to the plate. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. He singled to start the fourth.
Nobody out here. Middle of the infield is back, trying to turn that double play. It's not that you love the idea of conceding a run here and tying the game, but what you don't want is to bring the infield in, a ground ball gets through, and now you're dealing with another first and third situation.
Tied him up. Pulled into right field. That'll tie the game. Jacob Gonzalez with his second hit of the night. We're locked at 4 after the Braves led this game 4-0.
Slider here in this 1-2 count from Carlos Carrasco. Did not have a lot of movement, right? They're trying to get that in on the black. That one backed up a little bit, stayed middle, and Jeremy Heffernan now going to head out and have a conversation with Carlos Carrasco. When it comes to availability in the bullpen, I am a believer in, as a manager, you don't necessarily share that information publicly before a game, right? You don't want to give a team any kind of advantage. But again, I think the way that this is playing out here right now, clearly some guys are not available. It feels like this would have been Dylan Lee's spot. Don't know what the reason might be, and it's pure speculation. But the bullpen had been so good, and a big part of that had been you get to 7, 8, 9 like this, and it would be Lee, it would be Suarez, and it would be Raisel Iglesias. But Walt clearly trying to do it with some different guys tonight. I'm sure there's a really good reason behind it.
After the visit, Chase Meidroth at the plate. And he sends a ground ball to short. Chance for 2. Dubon turns it 6-3. 2 down.
Really nicely done here. Now, Matt Olson was anticipating a bunt. He had started charging in over at first base and had to get back quickly. And interesting for a team that has bunted as much as the White Sox have, that they choose not to in that spot, and instead the Braves get 2 outs.
And now Braden Montgomery, who is 1 for 3 in his major league debut. So for Carrasco, when he entered in the 6th, he's gone single, fielder's choice, single, out at the plate. walk, single, double play. Every spot in the White Sox lineup has reached base tonight. Golfed into center field. Harris is there. That will end the inning, but not before the White Sox scratch one across after a leadoff walk comes home to roost. Brand new ball game as we head to the 8th. Braves and White Sox tied at 4, top of the 8th inning in Chicago. Time to take a look at our Truist leaderboard. Since April 28th, when Don Mattingly came aboard with the Phillies, they're 27-12. They lost tonight to the Blue Jays and haven't gained but a half game on Atlanta in that span, despite being red hot.
Yeah, kind of incredible how well they have played, but a testament to how consistent and good the Atlanta Braves have been all season long, right? It was a rough go of it early on for the Phillies, as we see Sir Anthony Dominguez now coming on here out of the bullpen. ERA just under 4. Good strikeout rate. Walk rate is a little high, always has been, but he's got a big time fastball that sits at 97 miles an hour.
Phillies blew the save tonight on the road at Toronto after Zach Wheeler gave him a really good start.
He's been incredible since he's been back. He made his first start against the Braves, and it's been the worst of the group so far. He has rolled.
Riley 1 for 3 tonight, had a single back in the 3rd.
So they did not do a lot this offseason when it came to spending money with the White Sox, understandably so. But talked about Murakami. He comes in on a 2 for 34. He's been excellent on the IL right now. And then Dominguez, they gave him 2 years and $20 million and is trying to find some veteran bullpen help on a very young team.
This is the low fastball, leadoff walk.
This has kind of been the kryptonite. The walks have been an issue over the career of Sir Anthony Dominguez. Maybe Achilles heel would have been a better term to use there.
Yeah, well,
the kryptonite's got to kind of work against you, or he's really just working against himself.
Fifth in the AL in saves, breaking ball low to Yastrzemski, who's 1 for 3. And Romo goes out to have a word.
So even though the walks again have been an issue over his last 5 games coming into this one, only 1 walk here for Dominguez. It's been a little bit better under control, pun intended. He's fighting off, what do you think, the gnats?
Yeah, I think he's got gnats.
Saw Carrasco kind of do the same thing. We're not like in mid-season. Remember those midges that were in Cleveland that got shot with Chamberlain all those years ago?
I believe mid-season is October, the upper Midwest. Wiley will tell us. Four-seamer low. He's having a hard time controlling the fastball here. 2-0. And Yastrzemski sends it to center. Hill's got it. And now a quick message from our friends at Zaxby's.
Get Zaxby's fingers and wings in lemon pepper, garlic parm, and Nashville hot. Who's got the sauce?
Zaxby's.
One down, Austin Wynn's due up. And the Braves will send a pinch hitter up in Wynn's spot here with a runner on and 1 out. Why not?
And he's been a good one. Jorge Mateo getting this opportunity. That, of course, means that Sandy Leon will then slide in to do the catching. But Mateo has played a huge role on this team. He's done an excellent job for the Atlanta Braves, both on the offensive side. Defensive side has been really good. He's got some pop in that bat. He is 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter this year with the Braves. That one was a 2-run home run that he hit. It's the first pinch hit home run of his career.
Oh, they got him picked off. Riley and the flip. Meidroth has the tag. Austin Riley gets caught leaning for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, this is one unfortunate that can't happen. It looked like Austin Riley was trying to time Dominguez up and maybe take advantage of him being a little bit slower to the plate. Only 1 stolen base against him. But the timing did not work out.
To an 0 to Jorge Mateo. Best four-seamer he's thrown so far. And now he's starting to locate it. 2-2. To shallow right, Montgomery. Braves sent 3 to the plate in the 8th. 5-0. We go to the bottom half, tied at 4. Time for our Whataburger What a Play. And tomorrow night, Chris Sale will return to the south side.
Always a treat watching Chris Sale, regardless of where the starts are. But to see him pitch back at Boston earlier this year and now here in Chicago, that'll be a lot of fun. Those starts are always a good time. How about what he has done so far this year? These are the season numbers. It is feeling like potentially here for Chris Sale, going to be in that Cy Young Award conversation again here in 2026.
Randall Grichuk leads off the 8th inning for Chicago. Suarez now in the game, and he's having pitch count issues.
Well, he and Sandy Leon, so you got a whole new battery here right now, and maybe batteries are part of the problem here with the pitch count.
I see what you did there.
Thank you.
That was really good.
It started out by accident. Said, you know what, I'm old enough, Dad, do it.
29th appearance, an ERA of .63. 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for Robert Suarez.
He's been spectacular. But looking at that ERA, what he's done, dominating the lefties, filling up the strike zone here for Robert Suarez. There's a lot of things that went right for the Braves this offseason, but I think you could certainly make the case that this has been one of the biggest moves they've made.
And Sandy Leon, as we mentioned, back behind the plate after they pinch hit for Austin Wins. High fly ball deep to right field. Eli White comes around to make the catch.
His route right there told you that one probably got knocked down a little bit. Not a lot of wind, but you can see some of it. As he went kind of back to the wall, it looked like this one was going to have a chance, and then you see him making his way toward the foul pole. There, and then a few more steps this way. Quite a few more.
Here's Derek Hill. First plate appearance for Hill tonight. And drops the bunt down. Riley off a third on the run. Got him. Two up, two down for Suarez.
Really good job here by Robert Suarez to stay out of the way as he gets called off by Austin Riley. Sometimes pitchers get a little bit over ambitious and try to make that play. It is a much easier play for Austin Riley, and he makes a nice one once again.
Drew Romo's put up some weird numbers this season. 12 hits, 9 for extra bases.
That is kind of odd, right? 5 home runs as you see it there so far this season. So overall that low OPS, but there's been some slug.
Change up for a strike. Peeking ahead to the Braves half of the ninth. It'll be the top of the order. Eli White entered for Ronald Acuna back in the fourth. It'll be White, Harris, and Olson. And Olson's already got 2 home runs tonight. Riley. To the ninth we go. Take a look at our defensive play of the game, brought to you by Car Shield. How about Eli White?
Excellent work here. Gets behind the ball perfectly. I thought maybe he sailed this throw, but it was right on the money. Good job by Austin Wynns trying to get out of the way. This was reviewed. Clearly you can see the tag was on time. It was a question of whether or not there was a blocking the plate violation. There wasn't. And Eli White, who fills in here for Ronald Acuna Jr., who left with some left hamstring tightness, comes up big defensively and maybe now can come up big offensively.
Grant Taylor, new pitcher for the Sox. 25 games in ERA sub-2. 50 strikeouts against 9 walks.
Yeah, really good swing and miss. You can see those splits there have not been an issue. It's a 38% strikeout rate. That is legit. Fastball sits at 98.
Eli was at the plate in the 6th. His first plate appearance of the night with Yastrzemski at third, and he had a ball smoked to first base, and Jacob Gonzalez 104 off the bat and turned into an out at the plate. And he drives this one high and deep to left field. It is hauled in on the run by Grichuk.
Now that'll be nice for Eli White for a lot of different reasons, but of course tie game here in the 9th inning. And a guy like Taylor, he has been really good in this ballpark. 17 in the 3rd innings and only 1 earned run, and Eli White tried to double it, but he just misses it.
Michael Harris was the hero on Sunday and takes a first pitch strike at 98. Those gnats are a real issue now at the plate.
And as good as the fastball is, that pitch right there, his curveball, has been devastating. Just a 115 batting average against the Taylor curveball so far this season.
2 hits tonight for Michael. Pair of singles. Taylor 4th among major league relievers in Ks per 9, 14.6. Up the middle, off of Taylor. Michael Harris trying to hustle it out, and he beats the throw.
He's smirking a little bit. Vargas checking in to make sure that he is okay. But nobody coming out of that White Sox dugout just yet. Now they might come check on Taylor. What are we getting? Backside here? Yeah. That's why you squat, Tom. Never miss leg day. You turned into a base it anyway. If that's me, that ball's up the middle. I don't have that kind of coverage.
So many different ways I could go, but
yeah,
day
like
one, I'm just not confident enough to go there, CJ. So here's Olsen, a pair of home runs in each of his first 2 plate appearances. And drives this one high and deep to right field, but the park's going to hold it, and the ball just not carrying tonight once the sun went down. 2 down.
That's a good looking swing from Matt Olson. I think he may have caught this off the end just a little bit. That exit velocity, the tick under 90 miles an hour. Yeah, you could see it there. He knew it. Matt Olson knew he just missed it. He got a good look at that curveball, and it is a nasty one. That ball is about an inch further down the bat, and it's a 2-run home.
And now Ozzie. And there's the curveball for a first pitch strike. Ozzie's got a 3-hit day going. Seventh 3-hit game this season. He's got 11 career 4-hit games. How about number 12? Caught just a piece of it. Does he throw another curveball here?
I think he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on here with Jonathan Parra. And wondering if I think he wanted to see whether they thought it was a foul ball. It must have been. Right? Because otherwise Michael should be standing at second base.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Yeah, how about it? Off the bounce here for Ozzie, Vladimir Guerrero style.
Fastball up, and they say he went. 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and the check swing. Ozzie unable to hold it.
Apparently Ozzie not happy with it. Take a peek here at the side. Did he go? He may have.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Reliable Wi-Fi at one price. Xfinity, imagine that. By Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. And by Chevrolet, proud partner of the Atlanta Braves. Tied bottom of the ninth, 4 apiece. Top third of the order due up for the White Sox here in the home half. And Raisel Iglesias enters out of the Atlanta bullpen, an ERA of .87.
How about back-to-back guys that have been pitching for most of the year with sub-1 ERAs here? That has been a special treat for Braves fans watching this bullpen. But right now for Iglesias, back against the wall.
Sam Antonacci looks at a first pitch strike. Foul back. Braves led 4-0. Headed to the bottom of the third. Then Miguel Vargas with a 2-run home run. Sox scratched another one across in the fourth and tied this in the seventh. Vargas waits on deck. Missed up with the fastball. Back to back.
You go elevated. We know that changeup for Raisel Iglesias is such a weapon. And it plays pretty well against lefties, especially after the high heater.
Antonacci doesn't like it. Back-to-back changeups.
You got away with one there that was probably off the plate. You get great run. You see it out of the hand on the corner, and it continues to fade away. Do it. Might as well. You have both. I love how Antonacci's staying here like he knows it was a strike.
And he was right.
And this is the value. Listen, that ball is barely on the plate, right? But this is the value of not burning them early, right? You can afford to be aggressive when you have both of them. And that was a great job by Sandy to make the challenge.
So here's Vargas. And starts him off with a slider, 1-0.
Marcelo Iglesias has hardly used that slider this year. Mentioned it last time with him. A little bit of a problem for him early on. That's only the 11th slider he has thrown this season.
To third, here's Riley. And Vargas retired. 2 down in the 9th.
And that very well could have been just that kind of show me slider, even though he knows it was going to be off the plate, to then set up that sinker that came in to get the ground ball.
Here's Benintendi, 1 for 4. Singled on a changeup his last time up. That was in the 7th. And starts him off with a change. Popped him up, but it'll reach the seats most likely as Leon gives it a look. It's about 14 rows back.
Tell you something, that's a good estimate by you. You got me curious.
Did the math guy start counting?
I did. I got 13. That's really
give or take.
That's really well done.
Not bad for government work, huh?
It's a real drumstick it looks like he has there.
Golped into center. Here's Harris coming in and taken by Dubon. Too close for comfort. Harry Potter wand almost pulled it off. We go to the extra innings here. Let's go to the 10th. Top of the 10th, Ozzie Albies will be the runner at second base as we get into this. But first, let's get a word from Valvoline.
Silence your oil change anxiety with a quick, reliable stay-in-your-car oil change.
Ozzie struck out to end the 9th. It'll be Dubon, Dominic Smith, and then Austin Riley. Grant Taylor still on the mound for the White Sox. Mauricio pulls back and sends it into right field. Ozzie around third. Here's the throw. It gets through. He is safe, and now at second base, Mauricio Dubon. Perfect execution, and the Braves reclaim the lead.
I love this play. I don't know why you don't see it more often. The early square told you that it could be available, and so you get a fastball down the middle. Dubon pulls back. He's real short here, right? Doesn't take the leg kick and punches it the other way, the old slash. And Ozzie had to wait. That's why this play, if that throw was on line, it would have been a lot closer at home. He had to make sure that he saw it through. And there goes Mauricio Dubon with smiles.
And now Dominic Smith.
Heard a pretty interesting story regarding Taylor and when he was at LSU that fall. Him and Paul Skeens were on that team, and a lot of scouts believing that Taylor was actually better than Skeens in the fall. He ended up having Tommy John surgery and not pitching that year. You can see the stuff, though, and why that conversation might have been happening, at least in the fall. Obviously, Skeens took it to a whole nother level that 1 year that he spent at LSU.
And Skeens was just kind of getting into it because he was a two-way guy at Air Force who was also catching. Did you see the other day that he was on his way home from the park and saw some guys playing?
I did see that.
Under the lights, and decided to swing by and make the little leaguers' night. Pull to the right side. Productive as it gets Dubon to third. And now Austin Riley coming up.
Nobody warming up in that Braves bullpen, so it will be Raisel Iglesias in the bottom of the 10th.
Romo heads out to the mound. Like the Nats have calmed down a little bit. They were a bit of an irritant first on the mound and then at the plate. There they are.
It does look irritating.
They have history with this here at this ballpark. Well, in this part of town. Bill Veeck got chased off the mound one time. Pardon me. Hoyt Wilhelm got chased off the mound one time back in the late 50s. And so Bill Veeck said, bring the post-game fireworks onto the field. We'll set off the fireworks and that'll chase the Nats away.
That sounds like a Bill Veeck idea if I've ever heard one.
To third, Vargas coming home and out at the plate. Even with some moonwalking is Mauricio Dubon.
So clearly with the infield in, the contact play is on here for Mauricio Dubon. No hesitation. He takes off. You put a little bit of pressure on the defense, but unfortunately right at Vargas, and he makes a good throw.
By the way, finishing the research on that game in June of 1959, the Orioles trainer rubbed Wilhelm down with insecticide.
Sounds fun.
Sounds safe. Yastrzemski is 1 for 4 tonight. Do you think the bug zappers would work?
I love a good bug zapper.
Do you like the ones that hang, or do you like the tennis racket?
I like the ones that hang. I like hearing that sound, knowing that those guys are getting exterminated.
And now Yastrzemski's not having fun with them.
And it is like an 80s theme here, isn't it? That's kind of an 80s thing. Like, I grew up with those bug zappers. We're not allowed to have one in our house. My wife is too kind to insects.
Shallow left, Grichuk coming on, and Vargas back, and he'll make the catch with some company. To the bottom of the 10th, Braves once again in front.
Doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
5 runs on 12 hits for the Braves, 4 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for the White Sox. We go to the home half of the 10th. And Raisel Iglesias, who worked a perfect 9th, will try to finish this one off for Atlanta.
Be curious to see how the White Sox handle this. Right, again, we know that they bunt more than anybody in baseball, but they've had a couple of failures so far here this evening. In this situation, for me, I'm not a fan of it. Go ahead and take your 3 shots at trying to get the run in. That's the conversation likely that is happening. Now with Gonzalez, this is only his 8th game this year. No sack bunts here at the big league level.
Andrew Benintendi is the runner at third. He popped up to short to end the 9th. First pitch strike to Gonzalez. Misses with the fastball. Couple of hits for Jacob Gonzalez, and he's drawn a walk. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Reaches for it, and that is a foul ball. Leon brought that one back.
That was really close to Gonzalez challenging that. He went hand on the helmet, but he left his hand there, and he thought better of it with just the one challenge left. And this was a good call. It's a two-seam fastball. It came back and caught the strike zone. You see that there? He made the right decision.
No, I was just adjusting the helmet. Here's Chase Meidroth. First pitch sinker for a strike. Singled his first time up, was hit by a pitch his second.
And it's absolute paint. Back-to-back two-seam fastballs, the sinker from Raisel Iglesias that are right on the corner.
What's he come with here?
It's interesting that he went 0-2 fastball there and probably caught a little bit too much of the plate. He may try to elevate above. Right now you have Meidroth, who is in swing mode and trying to protect. I think you can expand here.
Fouled back. 4 straight fastballs. Benintendi, the runner at second. Ground ball to the left side. Dubon's got it. 2 down.
It's excellent work by Iglesias to put himself in this position, right? That man at second with nobody out, the punch out, and now the ground out. A real chance to get out of this thing and close the door.
And Braden Montgomery on the night of his major league debut. He's been very patient. He's taken strikes multiple times tonight to open his at bat. He is 1 for 4. In the air to left field. Yastrzemski on the run into the corner. It's gone, and it's a walk-off home run in the major league debut for Braden Montgomery. First blown lead of 4 and a loss for the Braves since May 4th at Seattle. They led that game 4-0 and lost 5-4. A night Braden Montgomery will never forget.
We looked at that first pitch changeup for Miggy. I thought maybe he would expand here a little bit. You got a young hitter who's going to be a little bit impatient after getting down the count 0-1. That changeup ended up catching too much of the strike zone. Take a look as you see it here. It's up, and I think Sandy wanted it away. Impressive by the young man, but a tough loss here for the Braves.
6-5, the White Sox, the winners. Game 1 of this road trip for Atlanta. For my partner, CJ Nikowski, I'm Tom Hart. Thanks for watching tonight on Braves Vision. Once again, our final score, White Sox 6, Braves 5. Coming up next, Sarah Plants and Peter Moylan on the Braves postgame show. You can tune in tomorrow on Braves Vision, 7 p.m. Eastern, with Chris Sale on the mound as the Braves take on the White Sox in Game 2 of this 3-game series. White Sox 6, Braves 5 in 10 innings. Good night.